Hi, folks. So today it's about a team which has got a name of being 1 minute up, 1 minute down. Yeah, you have guessed it right. It's the men in green, Pakistan. But sadly, it's not been that much of up for them over the last few years. Particularly if we consider the ICC tournaments in the 50 overs format, it's been mostly down for them. You see the 25 Champions Trophy, then the 23 World Cup, the 2019 World Cup, the two Asia Cups. None of them has been satisfactory for the men in green. So what's going wrong for them? I'm joined by Shubhadeep, and we would like to analyze all those things. So let's start with the batting. And Shubhadeep,
Well, to be honest, when they beat Australia in Australia and then Zimbabwe and the first team to beat South Africa in a home ODI series, I mean, most of them predicted that Pakistan are actually a strong contender to do well in Champions Trophy. But it actually shows where they stand at the moment. In this event, even before the last league game, or maybe in the 6 days, we can say that they are knocked out of the Champions Trophy. I think the issue is in the batting and
and I
bowling
mean,
and also
I feel
fielding.
sad for the fans. They're getting to host an ICC tournament 29 years later since 1996, and they haven't even won a single game. They're eliminated. It's done.
And the issue is everywhere actually. Even if we go internal through the video, we'll show where the grassroots are. The Pakistan cricket. I think starting from the batting, the first game in Karachi was absolutely dismal in the batting performance. Absolute 321 run chase. One of the main batters with whom all the responsibility are on his shoulders. It's made a 64 run knock in 90 deliveries in a strike rate of around 72 71. That's not acceptable. But the fact I want to mention is what about the other. I think Fakar actually was injured, so he doesn't bat at an open position. And short Shakil, that shot was not acceptable at any way at that position. And then Rizwan, I think you have to accept that it was a great catch from Glenn Phillips, but the shot wasn't on. And it was an issue for Pakistan cricket. Once they lose one of the players at a slot, they are one of the hampered the entire batting lineup. They can't know how to balance the side if
Yeah,
someone
I
is
mean, the
not hitting
problem
the boxes.
started when they couldn't take an opener once Simon got injured. They pushed Babar to open, who usually plays at number three. They could have brought back Abdullah Shafiq. They could have brought back someone else from the domestic or whoever, but they just changed the combination out of nowhere.
And the problem is, Saptoshi, when I saw Babar Sadam, I thought he's a great player, superstar of the game in the modern era. Maybe the pitch is such a tough surface to bat on. And then Salman Ali Aga come and smashed everything like a 120, 150 run strike rate. Of course, Dilsa batted beautifully in the lower middle order. It just shows that Babar is actually lacking a lot of
And
ability
you
to
didn't take
bat.
the other two names. Nasim Shah and Haris Rauf also made the pitch so easy.
Oh my goodness, that's another point. Actually, is we'll come back to that and come to the bowling department a little bit later. But the fact is, batting has also struggled in the India game in the Dubai. I know the pitch is a bit slower side under the heat. It was a bit of a sloppy surface, especially helpful for the spinners. One thing I have to look back in the Indian game for Pakistan side is that what is the best moment for Pakistan in the Indian game? That was a centurion stand, the 100 and odd run stand between Mohammad Rizwan and Shakil. But the fact is that
Yeah,
was
but
the
the thing
most
is,
moment.
despite that century run stand, at no moment India felt the heat because of that style of batting between the two. They knew
Yeah,
that the wicket was on the cards because once Pakistan thought that it's time to pull the trigger, the wicket fell.
felt like a 90s game, felt like an ODI game of the 90s, something like
Yeah,
that. I think Sunil
they just
Gavaskar will be really
crawled a
happy.
snail's pace, and I mean, I think the 100 came up so late. I mean, in the around the 30th run, 30th over, and I mean, Rizwan wasted so many balls. I just don't know what they were thinking. They were
Rizwan,
so afraid. It looked like there wasn't any bold approach.
you mentioned Rizwan. I think Gavaskar will be really, really happy with Rizwan's innings. I think he played that one of the Gavaskar's knockoff for 50 odd in the World Cup. That Rizwan knock was really, really bizarre to be honest. That century stand is actually the slowest century stand for Pakistan for any wicket if since March 2014. That's nearly 11 years. That's nearly 11 years. I mean, at no stage they fired up. And India, as you mentioned rightly, India at no position feel the heat. Like, I mean, if you're not coming at the bowlers, there's no kind of pressure on the Rohit to change the field or change the bowling department, anything else. He actually went attacking on the century partnership. And that was bizarre. How can you do that, man? I mean, they were both setbacks, man. And Rizwan, the shot he played, that was not on. Because he had so much pressure, even if they're not getting the singles, just leave out the boundaries and the over boundaries. They're not getting the singles.
Yeah, and even when
Set batters on the
Shami got
surface.
injured,
So there is the issue.
Hardik kept on bowling so well, and I mean they just couldn't even find the gaps and whatever. Even they couldn't make use of those two catch drops. Rizwan was dropped once, he got out the next over. Then Saud was dropped in that over, he got out the next over.
That's true. That's true. And that is the issue has been continuing for a long, long time. I think even in the bowling department. Let's come back to the bowling department. As you mentioned, Harris and Shaheen. This bowling department is playing for the last 6, 7, tournaments. If you say ODI, World Cup, Asia Cup, T20 World Cup. What is the last time Pakistan won? What is the last time? The best performance was 2020 T20 World Cup when they finished the runners up, or maybe in
Yeah,
the semi-final, you
and
can say.
also coming to Shaheen, I just don't know. I mean, what's the work going on over Shaheen behind the scenes? I mean, since his ACL injury back in 2022, when he got injured in that T20 World Cup, he came back, and since then he has just looked a pale shadow of that Shaheen which we saw in Dubai 4 years back, 3 years back. I mean, he doesn't have that confidence anymore in him. He still has got that ball, maybe once in a full moon. We saw that when he bowled Rohit Sharma with the pitch of a delivery, but he hasn't got that consistency. He will bowl one good ball and then he bowls five bad balls and gets hit for runs. He leaked runs at 8-9 in the 8 runs per over in the power play. Despite getting that wicket, it was of no use. And Haris Rauf and Nasim Shah, I'm stunned. I mean,
And
their growth is absolutely stagnant at this point of time.
And the fact is that you have to say that where was Pakistan in the New Zealand game? They had the QEs at 74 for 3 in
Yeah,
the first hour, and still New Zealand went to show that kind of masterclass batting or how to bat in this condition. I mean, it's a foreign conditions for Pakistan. When they are bowling in this Australian ground or South African ground, Zimbabwe ground, or any other foreign countries, the bowlers are getting the nice little help assistance from the surface. This is nothing on these benign surfaces, and there is I feel mostly. I mean, really, I'm a huge bowling fan from my cricketing journey, and I feel for the bowlers. There's nothing on the pitch, nothing for the spinners, nothing for the facers. But despite of getting 74 for 3 in the New Zealand side in the opening game, they leaked 321 runs. The death over, it's absolutely poor, and you can say below actually average. Shaheen Afridi was one of the guys who can't bowl death overs, and Pakistan has to kind of accept that he is not your death bowler. Harry Straub is someone who is a middle order bowler, and he is not picking wickets in the middle overs, even with his speed. Naseem Shah hasn't done something absolutely, as you mentioned, he is a bit. He's also going the same direction of the downward. So there, Pakistan's bowling line is there, and there is the Abrar Ahmed. He bowled well against India in Dubai, 1 for 28 in
yeah.
10 overs. But he's a lone one. There's a lone specialist spinner in the side. How
And
can
where
you
are their
pick one
other
spin?
spinners? Don't they have any more spinners in the domestic setup? I mean, Shadab was there. He's now out of the reckoning. There was Usama Mir in the 2023 ODI World Cup. He's just out of the scene. Usman Kadir retired. He, I think, is now playing for the Australian domestic clubs. And I mean, where are the spinners? They were playing some Sufian Mukim in that South Africa series. They didn't
Where is
pick him
he?
also.
I mean, at one point, India is picking 5 spinners in the side. It's one point, South Africa, Australia, all are going with 2, 3 spinners. England is going with 2, 3 spinners. And there's one team, there's a home side, host
And
side.
Pakistan being a subcontinent side, they're struggling finding spinners.
That's ridiculous. And you mentioned the guy, Wasim Junior. Where is he?
Yeah,
Where
so
is he?
where is he? I mean, he was the one who's brought some sort of life into the Pakistan attack in 2023 World Cup. In that New Zealand game, he bowled so well. In the England game, he so bowled so well at the death, and I mean, restricted a lot of runs. And since the 2023 World Cup, I've hardly seen him bowling for Pakistan. They picked Hasnain in this Champions Trophy, but why didn't they pick up Wasim Junior?
I always feel that the Champions Trophy is much more tougher than the World Cup. And the reason being is it's such a short tournament. Once you are not sharp at the opening game, you have to play the catch-up game always. And if you are not actually, in point or on point with your squad selection, then you have no way of getting qualification. No way. Look at that, Pakistan have picked Fahim Ashram. They haven't played him in the first 2 games. It doesn't matter whether he plays the Bangladesh game or not. You are out of the tournament. So your selection is not crystal clear. You are not sure about your players, and this is what happens. And I feel for the side, I feel for the fans also. How can a side struggle that much with the loss of just one player who is an opener, Shahim Ayub? Suddenly, the
Yeah, even
entire
when
squad.
Fakar got injured, I mean, they didn't have any replacement and brought a player who was dropped 1.5 years back, Imamul Haq. I mean, he, I think, last played somewhere in the 2023 World Cup. He was dropped midway into the World Cup when Fakar again came back. And since then, I think he didn't even play any more ODI games for Pakistan. And then all of a sudden, he's back in a pressure game like India versus Pakistan.
Well, we shooted a video on England's. By the way, if you haven't actually watched the video, that's on the comment box. You can check it out. But I actually mentioned the one on England's side, England's ODI decline. They were actually struggling continuously. Unlike Pakistan, who are doing well outside your home, and suddenly come back home and actually started to struggle. And I mean, unlike England, ECB has been actually managing the players well. Something which haven't happened with Pakistan cricket. What is going on behind the scenes? If the grassroots is important, anything happened. I remember 2020 23 World Cup. The day before, or the day before they're gonna depart for the India side or India, they were actually struggling to find the central contract. There's something going on. Who will get the central contracts and all the things? Coaches. I mean, Gary Custom became the coach of the T2 or the ODI side or ODI and T20 Whiteball side for Pakistan cricket before the 2024 T20 World Cup, and he didn't even coach in a single ODI series before the Australia series resigned because of the fact that he picked up a few players. He gave a few names to PCB after watching the ODI tournament. I can't believe that Gary Custom stayed for the whole tournament, domestic cricket. He picked some players that this is my player. I want this player, and PCB denied them. PCB says, no, I'm not going with them. I have my own choices. I don't actually, I have to deny your whole selection. And they went
And
with the
anyways,
player.
I mean, last 4 or 5 years, you see, every ICC tournament has ended, and there's been an overhaul in the management of Pakistan. The captain has changed, or the coaches have changed. The management has changed. Another ICC tournament, same thing happens. Same
Yeah.
process goes on. I mean,
Copy and paste,
even after the 2023 World Cup, I remember Babar was all of a sudden, he resigned from captaincy. Shaheen captained for one series in New Zealand. They lost the T20 series. Again, Babar came back. He loses the T20 World Cup. Then he goes away. Now enters Rizwan. And I mean, it's hilarious.
Even
Absolutely
even the
hilarious.
test side. You look at a test side, it's same. Jason Gillespie become the head coach. Suddenly they lost the test match at home against England. Suddenly changed the entire surface, and Akib Javed become the interim head coach. There's no point of him getting
And now they have lost a match on that surface against West Indies. So now maybe coming up with something else in the next test series.
And now, because Akib Javed did well, he actually got promotion in the ODI side. Now, because they lost the India game on Champions League knockout, now they are actually they are trying to sack Akib Javed and the entire coaching selection. Why will you go back now? Because there's no option. Even in the PCB selection, there's umpire who is actually national selector. They have no
Alimdar.
consistency. Alimdar, yeah. There's no consistency in the selection committee. No one. There was Ramiz Raja at one point of PCB chairman. There was Hafiz was one point. There's Shoaib Malik was one point.
Also, I mean, why didn't they give Kamran Gulam a single chance? He played well in South Africa. All of a sudden, one bad game and he was dropped. I mean, there's absolutely no logic in those selections. And it's not that they're flopping only in the ODI format. The T20 also hasn't gone very well for them. They somehow went to the finals in 2022, ended up losing that. But since then, 2024 was absolutely disastrous for them. Couldn't even chase down 120 versus India. Couldn't chase down 36 out of 40 or something like that. And the test format, I think, in this WTC, they're at the bottom of the points table.
Now, what's next for them? If you ask me, from a personal point of view, I want to change the entire side. Just change the entire side. Give them one year. Make them lose all the series. It doesn't matter. But give them at least chance. Make them consistent and see what happens.
Yeah, I think at this stage, things can't get worse. So, I mean, they've hit the rock bottom. So, things can't get worse. You send an entirely new squad. Maybe you keep one experienced player, make him captain, send the entire new squad. Whatever happens, happens. But it can't get any worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And nothing. Why did you drop? I mean, you were absolutely at the bottom. There's nothing.
I mean, again, you will send the experienced squad. They will win some series anyhow in South Africa, in England, whatever. And then the IC tournament comes. They will again put up such a performance. And the team will just change the coaches.
They don't have much time. They're just around 2 years. I mean, just 2 years to select the entire side and to do well in the next ODI World Cup, which is in South Africa. To be careful with your pacers and the batters. If they're not quality batters, they are not going to score runs on those bouncy surfaces in Zimbabwe, Namibia, and South Africa. So be careful with the selection. Have to be crystal clear. If the selection is not good in any tournament, it's not going to do well. It's not
I think at this point, the selection has to happen on merit, no matter how big name you are. If you are not performing, you have to be edged. And I mean, that's the way out for Pakistan. I really hope they get back to some sort of form. And I mean, it will also make this India-Pakistan rivalry really some sort of a rivalry. At this point, it's just rivalry based on name. The
Yeah.
broadcasters are minting money. Nothing else is happening. The cricket fans are definitely not getting any good enjoyment. I think Bangladesh put up a far better fight than Pakistan against India.
Against India, even against New Zealand, I
Against
would say,
India,
even
yeah.
against yeah.
So, I mean, if Pakistan can get back to that level, it will definitely make this India-Pakistan rivalry also far better. And I mean, that will be a really great treat to all the cricket fans. So, hoping for the best. And please watch out all our other lives and our shorts after each and every match in this ongoing Champions Trophy. Stay tuned. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and share with as many guys as possible. Till then, cheers and goodbye.